What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and apparently another arrest was just made after yet another attempt to remove Donald Trump from this planet. Anybody else think it's really odd that this guy isn't even president and everyone seems to be trying to remove him from the planet? It seems very odd to me. I mean, it'd be one thing if he was actually president, but he's simply running for it. If you listen to mainstream media, he's 20 points behind. Why are all these people getting caught trying to remove him from the planet? Well, this time there's been an arrest announced, and it's already being spun as somebody with Iranian ties. Who do we know that wants to go to war? Who do we know in our government do they want to start a war with? Could it be Iran? What a coinky-dink. What a coincidence that this Pakistani national that our government has known about since April just so happens to have ties to Iran right at that exact moment that our government wants to go to war with them. Leave a like on the video right now if you also think that is just a coinky-dink. What a coinky-dink that this happened. Breaking. By the way, if you haven't yet, make sure you follow or subscribe. And if you haven't yet, end of the day, I think this might be my last video for the day. I don't know when it's getting released. But by tomorrow, do me this favor. Download the Rumble app. They just started upgrading their search feature, which is going to get much better over the coming weeks. Download the Rumble app. Follow The Quartering on it. Tune in 1 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday, or when you're done with work, to my daily live show. There we can get a little more spicy than in the standalone videos. But Pakistani national arrested for plot to end Donald Trump. Department of Justice knew about the scheme since April. Well, that's just 4 months. No big deal. And why do you think that they waited to announce it right now? When basically full-scale war is on the table in the Middle East. I do think those two things might be related. I mean, I don't know. I can't know anything for sure. I'm just a Midwest country bumpkin. I don't know all this fancy geopolitics stuff. The Department of Justice announced Tuesday that a Pakistani national has been charged in connection with the plot to remove a politician or government official. Of course, it's Donald Trump. Asif merchant, also known as Asif Raza merchant, 46 years old, kind of late to be getting into the game, bud, arrived in the United States in April of 2024 after spending some time in Iran. When he arrived in the U.S., he contacted a person who he believed could assist him in the plot, with that person reporting merchant to law enforcement and becoming a confidential source. Wow, so they got themselves a patsy, allegedly, some people might say. While the U.S. Department of Justice press release did not name the potential targets of the plot, a U.S. official briefed on the matter told CNN that FBI investigators believe that Donald Trump or other current former U.S. officials were intended targets. Remember when they floated this out? It was like the next day. I think the Secret Service floated this story out. So they knew, and they just waited for it. The Department of Justice stated that he explained the plot to a confidential informant in a New York meeting, telling them that the opportunity he had for the CS was not a one-time opportunity. It would be ongoing. Merchant made a finger pew gesture with his hand, indicating that the opportunity was related to such. So this guy's a moron. He's a moron, and he walked right into a honeypot. That's what this sounds like to me. The guy's a dum-dum, a goofball, a dimwit. And now it's going to be like, just like that last guy, just like Lee Tardy Oswald, climbed up on a roof and defeated the entire Secret Service all by himself. A guy with no friends, mediocre grades, and a face that looks like FES. Anyway, Merchant plotted the attempt at various meetings and quizzed the informant on how he would go through with it. Specifically asked him to explain how the target would pass away in different scenarios, and noting that there would be security all around. According to the DOJ, Merchant said that it would occur after he left the United States, and then he would communicate with them using special code words. The informant asked whether Merchant had spoken to an unidentified party back home with whom Merchant was working. Merchant responded that he had, and that the party back home told him to, quote, finalize the plan and to leave the United States. I don't believe any of this. Leave a like on the video if you think this is just way too convenient of timing. And I love how they're just so happen to be tying him to Iran right now. Merchant in mid-June met with the purported hitman who were undercover law enforcement officers in New York. He told them that he was looking for 3 services from them: the theft of documents, arranging protests at political rallies, and for them to go after a political person. He said that the hitman will receive instructions on who it would be the last week of August or the first week in September. On June 21st, Merchant met with an undercover officer in New York and paid them $5,000 in advance, a payment that he received assistance from an individual overseas. After receiving the payment, one who was probably from a CIA agent. I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm not saying I know that, YouTube. Okay, have you downloaded the Rumble app yet and followed the quartering yet? I'm going to keep hammering it in August. The undercover officers then stated, now we know we're going to go forward. We're doing this. To which Merchant said, yes, absolutely. After the meeting, Merchant made flight arrangements to leave the United States on Friday, July 12th. Law enforcement agents placed him under arrest the day before he could leave the country. For years, the Justice Department has been working aggressively to counter Iran's brazen and unrelenting attempts to retaliate against American public officials for Soleimani. The Attorney General Merrick Garland, the Justice Department will spare no resource to disrupt and hold accountable those. Well, of course, it's Iran. No holes barred. Absolutely. I mean, just the timing must be a crazy coincidence. Laura Luma writes, a Pakistani national with ties to Iran has been charged with a plot to go after Trump. Asif Merchant, the FBI said they believe that Trump and other current former U.S. officials were intended targets. Here's some of the replies. I trust nothing that comes from the FBI. Basically, they no longer had use for this Pakistani guy, so they made up this nonsense. The FBI is just going to make it look like they're protecting Trump because they've been busting their role trying to not do that. I wonder how we got into our country. I'm going to guess the wide open borders. Yeah, so Democrats going after President Trump again so they can blame Iran. Yawn. We can't stop a 20-year-old with only World of Warcraft skills from climbing a building 100 yards away to go after Trump, but we can tie Iran from an ocean away and foil a plot. Unbelievable. The whole thing is absolutely bonkers to me. Here you have from Bill, a national correspondent for Fox, writing, new DOJ announces charge of Pakistani national with ties to Iran in a plot to go after former or current U.S. government officials on soil in retaliation for Soleimani. Department of Justice, if these people knew anything, they know that $5,000 wouldn't hire you much of a hitman. Not that I've looked into it. I'm just saying $5,000 isn't very much money. And so here's the money they got paid in rolled up $100 bills, apparently, and then here is, I'm not sure people's names, and then wire information, apparently. This is the individual getting dumb and looks like a Holiday Inn Express getting filmed going after this plot. I mean, this whole thing is ridiculous. Either this guy is a complete buffoon, just like I'm supposed to believe Lee Tardy Oswald was, or the convenient timing, just moments before, at the highest, most possible scenario, the most likely time our country will go to Iran, at the exact moment when our country may be going to Iran, suddenly there's an attempt from Iran. I don't have any evidence to the contrary, but I just, you see here, well, there's a second attempt that Alex Jones warned us about. Notice how he wasn't Palestinian. So Pakistan, Iran, who else in the U.S. wants him gone? Right, sure. Nobody is buying this. Again, I am very new and very green on the, political stuff, okay? I don't have any kind of inside information. All I have is my intuition. And when we saw now almost a month ago what happened to Donald Trump, either people are just willingly not protecting him, putting him in harm's way, or suddenly there's all sorts of these. This guy seems like another amateur to me. Don't you think? Sure seems like another amateur to me. Just like, dude, oh, here's $5,000. Oh, officer, hey, that's a nice cop mustache you got there. You're not a cop, are you? He probably literally said you have to tell me if you're a cop, right? I bet you this guy said that. A nearly 50-year-old man sent over here with $5,000 in cash. That's not even enough to even sniff. That's less than what angry ex-wives get caught paying people on the internet for. I don't believe this for a second. I believe they sat on this as long as they wanted to, and it is my opinion that they're just going to use this to try to turn up the heat to go to war with Iran, which is what our government has wanted to do for years. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe, follow, download the Rumble app today, follow the quartering, follow your other favorite content creators. If they're not there, ask them why they're not. Ask them why they hate free speech. We'll talk to you again real soon.